Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Sunday Wellness by Policybazaar. I am your host Simran. Now the festive season is almost here. Diwali aa gayi, Bhai Dooj aa gaya, and of course we are all extremely excited to have a good time with our friends and family. But अक्सर होता क्या है festive season के दौरान हम सबके लिए time निकालते हैं, सब कुछ करते हैं, बस अपने लिए time नहीं निकाल पाते. We all need a little self-care in our life. And थोड़ा me time सबको चाहिए होता है, and it's good for our mental health. तो हम वो कैसे कर सकते हैं, इसके ऊपर बात करने के लिए मैंने इनवाइट करा है रुचि रू को. शी इज़ अ साइकोलॉजिस्ट. वेलकम टू द शो रुचि.
So hi, thank you for having me here. I'm Ruchi Ru. I'm a qualified counselor. I specialize in love, relationships and mental well-being.
Now Ruchi, many people feel a little pressured when they are invited to social gatherings or parties and they don't feel like going. How can you politely decline an invitation without causing any offense to anybody?
See, it's Diwali and everybody is celebrating and they will be inviting you to their celebrations or gatherings. It just means that they deeply care about this connection or relationship and they want you to be a part of their celebrations. However, it's not important that you need to take every invite and you can decline a few. Setting boundaries, saying no, shouldn't be a daunting experience for anyone. If you feel that this is something which is not for you, you can proactively call them or text them so that they can manage their guest list better. Call them and tell them that this is not a good time for me. I am focusing on my own self-care or I want to celebrate it my way, but thank you for thinking about me. And that's a very kind thing to do to other people, and it shows that you value their time, but you also are valuing yours. This honest communication can really enhance the connections. If you can't make it this time, always offer an alternate time or date or a meaning of celebration. That could mean that you would want to perhaps meet them for a cup of coffee or a dinner, just two of you celebrating, talking about things, or you could postpone it to another date. But creating this alternate scenario always tells people that you deeply care about them, but right now you perhaps are taking time for yourself. And that's how you politely decline a Diwali invitation.
Now, Ruchi, with a long list of preparations during festive season, which is shopping, cooking, decorating your home, how can somebody, realistically, practically spare time for themselves, for their self-care?
Diwali can be a very challenging time for a few people. We are very, very busy. We are creating things, we are gifting things, we are meeting people, we are taking care of the house. There is obviously a few rituals that go with Diwali and it can become very daunting. But understand that self-care doesn't need to be something very elaborate. Self-care could just mean a nice warm cup of tea by yourself, reading a few pages of a book, taking a nap, going for a little walk, or calling somebody that you truly love. It doesn't really need to be elaborate. You can start with the morning rituals. So, like if you go for a walk, just get that out of the way so that you feel good and positive about yourself the entire day. And also one thing I feel that people who generally adhere to routines, and especially self-care routines, get a little edgy around celebrations because they're like, oh my god, I'm not doing enough for myself. It's important that you don't do that. It's okay, it's just 2-3 days celebration and you can always fall back to your own routine, whatever you had later. It's important to right now just relax, be more mindful of the things around you and try to engage as much as you can. Also, people who sort of like writing like a gratitude journal at the end of the day, just thanking yourself for this very beautiful year and the company of really amazing people, and the celebrations and the changing of season around you could be something positive that you can do while celebrating and while taking care of yourself. So yeah, this self-care should not be something that needs to be something that you need to take out extra time for, but something that you can easily do for yourself. And mindfulness while celebration could be a very good thing.
Now, festive season, often comes with a little financial stress, I feel. I mean, this is one of the most common questions we received when we announced an episode with you on festive wellness. कि त्योहार के समय गिफ्ट्स और सेलिब्रेशन को ध्यान में रखते हुए बजट को कैसे हम अपना बैलेंस कर सकते हैं.
Diwali not only comes with celebrations, but the whole idea that we have to give people something, or we have to decorate our house in a certain way, especially with social media and the comparisons that have cropped up on social media. So many people want to do things that the other people are doing. So it's very important that you start with the budget. You know how much or where you want to spend. So having a very clear idea and talking to your family about it, that this is the budget I'm setting aside for this time. It could be a certain budget for gifting or decoration. It's okay. It doesn't have to be something elaborate. It could be very minimal budget, and you can do something which doesn't put too much financial pressure on you. See, some people get into that zone and they start spending, which they later regret. So the idea is very clear that you understand this is the money I have and this is what I can spend, and that could be a very game changing experience, because then you would stick to the budget that you have. Also, I feel a lot of people now are moving away from the traditional gifting ideas or traditional ideas of decorating your house. So do something that fits your needs, your budget right now. It could be just decorating a beautiful corner in your house, or buying something very practical which you would use throughout the year, or gifting something to people that is more personal and handmade. It doesn't have to be a store bought gift, but something that you could create on your own, which shows more love to people. It could be a small painting, it could be something that you've written for them, it could be just getting a few candles and decorating nicely and gifting it to people. So think about alternate ideas when you are gifting something or you're decorating your house, because it gives you an alternate idea, because not everybody wants to spend so much money on gifting and decorating. So that takes away the financial stresses.
Now, Ruchi, I feel like a lot of people, feel obligated to host parties or gatherings at their home or invite people over, relatives, friends. How can you say no, basically, without, upsetting anybody?
I know no can be hard sometimes, and especially saying no to people that you love can be a very, very difficult thing, because sometimes we equate no to not respecting them enough or not loving them enough back. But no is something that we need to say sometimes, and your no should be enveloped in a lot of respect, a lot of care, and an honest explanation. People whom you're saying no to would totally understand if you reinforce the idea that this is something that you seriously don't want to engage in. But be also ready for the reactions that might come. People might feel disappointed, they might feel slightly angry, or they might not like the idea at all, and they might like to pressurize you or try to tell you to come still. But stick to your boundaries. Say that this is something I don't want to do, and just adhere to that no. Also, I feel that there are certain places or people just don't vibe with our energy, and it is okay to say no to them. Be selective with your yeses too. So, if you are not vibing with a certain place or people, just don't say yes to those events. And if you are still going to an event like that, always have an exit plan. Sometimes we have to go to certain places, we say to certain places, but then we don't vibe there. So always having an exit plan, a plan B in place, could be very beneficial for people who are unable to say no. And I think I would like to tell people that boundaries are not selfish. Boundaries are just to protect your own mental peace and well being. It is not to keep people out, but it is just to safeguard what's inside. And sometimes that's very important too. Taking care of just yourself and not bothering about other people.
No, I feel like whenever something major happens, right? If you have to go to a party, there's a celebration, festive season hai, your regular routine, right, which is eating healthy, exercising, all of that goes for a toss. How can somebody stay balanced during this time?
Sometimes we overstay at places, sometimes we overconsume, and then what happens is that we are not able to exercise the other day or maintain a sleep schedule that we usually follow. And it is okay if you feel that you have not been sleeping well, try taking a nap in the afternoon, but also understanding that perhaps sleeping for you is more important, and then excusing yourself from the event could be something that you could do. uh, don't let your sleep get too messed up, because it can create the next day it could be you could be feeling more groggy, more irritable, not wanting to engage in social interactions. So if you want to keep your social battery high, I think perhaps indulging in a better sleep schedule, which is 7-8 hours of uninterrupted sleep, could be a very good idea. Whereas the exercise goes, I think one needs to understand that maybe we will not get time in engaging in a proper routine of exercising. So a 15-minute quick yoga or like a power walk could be something that you can engage in. Get your steps in. Like if you practice 10,000 steps, maybe you can just go for 5,000, and just feel good about it, because at least you got some exercise. The idea is not to have like the perfect schedule of exercising and sleep that we usually have, but to maintain a certain amount of activeness and sleep, so that we are able to feel recharged for the next day. So don't pressure yourself into that active lifestyle that you usually have, but really try to enjoy the day with your friends and family. You can still exercise later and go on a nice diet, sleep a little more once the festivities are over.
No, I feel like on such occasions, overconsumption bhi ho jata hai, right? You could eat a little more, you could drink a little more, you could be out a little more and drain your social battery as well, right? So how can we deal with overconsumption?
Diwali is overconsumption, right? We are indulging in too much food, perhaps a lot of alcohol, uh, social interactions. That's also overindulgence. We're meeting more people than we usually do, or we are spending a lot more than what we would usually do. First, it's okay to spend a few days doing things that you really enjoy, but also understanding that setting a budget, and when I say budget, it's not just for the money, but also for the time you are spending interacting and how much you're eating. So budgeting your food also. So if you have eaten something nice, try to eat something healthier in the next meal, or try to skip that next meal if you think you have overindulged. If you've had a lot of alcohol the previous night, perhaps this night you could just rest it out, sleep on time. So balancing any overconsumption that you're doing with a little bit of fasting, a little bit of restraining yourself from the indulgence the next day could be something you could do. And it is okay to do it as long as you're mindful about your body and you're respecting your own time and body at that moment. Also, I feel that if you have overindulged over a period of time in the holidays, like uh, you were awake for a longer period of time, you were eating unhealthy food, you were socializing more than your capacity, it's okay to have a detox later. So the following week of Diwali, perhaps you can go back to your routine, eat healthier, exercise slightly more, take time in to absorb all the festivities, feel good about it. And I think a little detox could be practiced later. So I think celebrate for now while respecting your body and your own mind.
Now, I feel like parents, especially new parents, it can be a little difficult for them to enjoy themselves or spare time for themselves while also managing their kids' excitement and their responsibilities during the festive season. How can they navigate the situation?
First of all, I think it's very important to make children part of the celebrations and teach them these very interesting traditional values that you have. It could be a very good time to involve them and perhaps create a new ritual with them. Maybe you create a sweet together, maybe you do baking together, maybe you go for shopping together. Give them a small list and things that they can pick up. Instead of saying that, okay, I need to keep my children away and I need self care time, why don't we include them in the moments where they can actually pitch in and bring their own ideas and really learn some family values together? Also, it's important to teach kids boundaries. So if you are not excited about a certain thing or you don't feel like doing something, maybe create an alternative, or tell them that maybe I don't want to indulge in this year, maybe we will go to grandma's later, maybe we will not be gifting this year, but we'll create some diyas together. So teaching kids these things is so important. And a lot of parents, I feel very guilty when they are not able to provide them, their own children, the kind of celebrations that perhaps they experienced. It's a very real guilt, a very parental guilt, where you are not able to indulge your children the way other parents are.
Now, Ruchi, what tips do you have for people with complicated family dynamics, and how can they, avoid conflicts during get-togethers with their family during such time?
So, a lot of people wait for something big to happen before they set a boundary, but I feel that boundaries should be established on very regular basis. Telling them you perhaps don't want to indulge in a particular gathering or don't want to overgift. Setting these boundaries well in advance could be very helpful so that it doesn't come as a shock to them and you feel more peaceful. If you are being invited to a gathering where you might feel uncomfortable around a few people, or you don't want to overstay and do other things, always have an exit plan in place and announce your exit plan well in advance. So tell them that maybe I will need to go a little early, leave a little early so that I can go back and take some rest, or maybe you have an alternate plan. Just announce them that way in advance. And also, I feel having an exit plan for such gatherings gives you a peace of mind, because you know that you are not going to overstay or overindulge yourself, and that's self-care too. One thing which I feel is so important for people to learn anyway is that not every battle needs to be fought at that moment. Not every conflict needs to be resolved at that moment. So you can take your time and just enjoy whatever is happening and talk about things later. A lot of times people, because of obviously some childhood experience or something, tend to get a little edgy around, especially family, around Diwali and other festivities. It's important to understand that those conversations can wait and you can still have those conversations, but perhaps this is not the right time. And being mindful about that today I'm here to celebrate and I don't want to fight any battle, could be a very peaceful experience for a lot of people. And I feel that even while you are dealing with family, having some really good friends around, having a supportive group where you can be yourself, can be very good for people. Yeah, family, I understand wherever you need to set boundaries, start saying no, but also have a few supportive, nice cousins or friends or siblings around so that you feel good about the holidays too.
Now, Ruchi, thank you for taking out the time to address all of my questions. Now, our audience जो कि हमारा session live देख रही है, उन्होंने भी कुछ questions भेजे हैं, so let's look at them. Now, Ruchi, the first question is, my family expects me to do most of the work around home for Diwali celebrations, which leaves me exhausted. How can I ask for help while ensuring I still get time for myself?
I know sometimes you are left to do a lot of things on your own, and asking for help also is difficult. But one needs to frame it as a teamwork and say that, I want everybody to pitch in and enjoy this celebration with me, so that, we all are doing certain tasks around the house. So it's also about delegating a few tasks. So be specific. So, like in the house, you want someone to make a rangoli, and you want someone to prepare certain sweets, or you want someone to get some groceries from the store. Delegate very specific tasks to people, instead of saying that, oh, you need to help me with the decorations. Be more specific. What decoration do you want them to do? So delegating clear tasks to people can really ensure that, you get the help. See, people who take up too much of tasks over Diwali or celebration, need to understand that you need to communicate your limits to your family, and tell them that this is what I can do and this is something I'm not indulging in. Setting these personal limits is so important. First is acknowledging that, I get overwhelmed and I get tired after I do all that, and then setting those limits in front of other people, that, see, I'm not going to indulge so much into it, is so important. And most of the times we feel that people would not understand us, but trust me, people do understand you. And till the time you are not going to communicate your personal limits, people are not going to understand them. So be sure to communicate that something is overwhelming you.
Ruchi, the next question is, I live in Bangalore, my family is in Delhi, and I won't be home this Diwali. Such times make me feel lonely. How can I practice self care and feel connected despite being away from loved ones?
I know, when it's celebration and it's festivals, we want to go back to our family, enjoy the family traditions, the rituals, the food, the smell of the house. Everything is so nostalgic, and we end up missing everything. Um, but understanding that perhaps you are in a different city and you can't travel, and acknowledging that this is going to be the situation this year, is very helpful. Uh, Also, finding local traditions could be something that you could do. Maybe go out with your colleague, or maybe if you have a few friends over there, go out with them, or just go out, and see how other people locally are celebrating. So becoming more in tune with the local traditions could be something that you could learn from and celebrate in a very different way. Also understand that if the family is celebrating back in Delhi, maybe you can video call them. Maybe they can make you a part of a certain ritual. So an aarti is happening, and they can put the phone and you can be involved in the aarti while it's happening over a video call. Uh, you could share pictures of things that you are doing here with them, and ask them to do the same. We are so well connected now, and it could be a very good time to video call people and know what they're up to, and really be a part of those celebrations. I think the third point would be to create some of your personal traditions also. And I know, nostalgic feeling of those family traditions, but ask yourself, what can I do to celebrate right now? Do I want to get like an assorted box of chocolates or sweets? Do I want to take a trip somewhere? Do I want to maybe decorate my house the way my mother used to? So asking yourself these questions, that how can I create my own traditions right now, that will help me feel festive and help me celebrate this festival. So understanding that and creating those rituals could be a very helpful thing.
Now, Ruchi, FOMO is a big thing, right? Introverts, especially, I feel they might feel socially awkward to go to parties, but they also might feel like they are missing out on something. What tips do you have for them?
First thing is that you need to understand that's a part of my personality, and perhaps I would enjoy solo or more intimate settings more, and it is okay to deny a few events or celebration that you feel a lot of people are going to be part of, and you might feel lost there. So if that is your thing, always understand that perhaps I have a few traits of being an introvert and I don't want to go into bigger gatherings. And maybe stay home, decorate a little corner for yourself, have a glass of wine all by yourself, read a nice book, and that could be your celebration. If you are going to an event, and it's important that you go to an event, always take breathers. So if you have interacted with a lot of people there, or you have seen enough of the noise and the all the celebration, take yourself away, recharge, sit in a quiet corner with your cup of coffee or your little plate of snack, and just recharge. Talk to somebody if you want to over a call, if you think that it's getting too overwhelming over there. Also, I feel that in gatherings, what introverts can really benefit from is that instead of talking to a whole group of people where people in group is standing, instead of that, just make try to make one-on-one connection with people where you sit down and talk to one person, really indulge in a conversation. And if still conversation is not your thing and you need to be there, be curious about them, ask them questions, ask them about their personal plans or their future plans. And I think that could be a way where you can still do things that you like and still be a part of the celebration.
Ruchi, the next question is, as a parent, I struggle to balance taking care of my kids and finding personal time during the festive season. What tips do you have for parents looking to practice self-care? I think you've already addressed this question, but if you could just sum up your answer again.
First of all, understand that if you can involve your kids in certain tasks around the house, that could be very helpful. So just if they are younger kids, maybe asking them to place certain things in certain order, maybe creating a little rangoli with them. So basically involving them in tasks that which are age appropriate to them. So maybe you have a teenager, maybe you can take them to the market, give them a list, and they can shop a few things from around the market. So understanding that instead of taking time away from the kids, how do I indulge them in creating some small traditions together? Also, delegating a few tasks to other family members could be very helpful. So if you have other people around the house, maybe telling them that this is something that needs to be done by you and I need to spend some quality time with the kids. That is something that you have an option for. Go for it. Spend some quality time with your kids, maybe take a nap together, maybe just watch a movie together, which is away from the celebration that are happening all around. Another thing that I think for parents it's important is to model good boundaries, model good limits, and model good self-care to their kids. So if you are not setting limits for yourself, you are in overindulging. If you are not taking care of yourself, if you are not setting limits for yourself, you will be modeling the same sort of behavior for your kids. So kids are watching you and they are learning from you. So if they see an overwhelmed or exhausted parent, they're going to know that this is how traditionally on Diwali's things work. So modeling a good self-care and stricter personal boundaries could be a very nice thing. So celebration and then self-care, taking care of yourself, taking a nap, maybe having a green tea, maybe going for a little walk, are all behaviors that are modeled to the kids to understand that it's okay to take break from the celebrations and really, really take care of yourself.
Thank you, Ruchi, for taking the time today and joining us. Your insights were extremely helpful. मैंने personally बहुत कुछ जाना और सीखा आपसे, and I'm sure our audience would feel the same.
Thank you for having me here and asking me such amazing questions. Hope you have a very nice festival season. Happy Diwali to you.